Hello, hello. This is Danielle Ralston. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and we're coming to you to talk about powerful sales. This is our Power Hour training, where we're adding in some radical shifts and some mindset work here for you coming in here and coming into our world, because we want you to see how powerful this sales process really is. On average, our current people that are following this process and this framework, and it is a framework, it's not you have to follow this exact checklist thing, because that does not work. We're ADHD, we're overwhelmed, we're exhausted, we're burnt out. We need to make sales powerful and easy. So when they work it in less than 24 hours, our average client, well, no, 75% of our clients that follow this framework get a client within 24 hours or less. So this method, and it's just a method, it's a framework for you to follow, because I don't want you to follow my checklist. I don't want you to do it the way I do it, because if you do, it will not be in alignment. It will not be authentic for you, and it's not going to work. I'm going to straight up tell you, if you do it exactly the same way I do, it is not going to work for you. So how you learn a new framework is you do copy it for like 2 weeks. And then you say, okay, this is what I loved about it. This is what I hate about it. Let's try this instead. So I am telling you, you're not going to want to do this my way. Exactly. But you are going to want to copy it for about 14 days. And even doing that, you heard everything I just said. We're still getting people getting sales in 24 hours, copying my way, which means they aren't aligned, which means they aren't doing their best at sales, and they're not authentically them, which means they aren't doing their best in sales, and they're still getting sales. So what is this framework? Step 1, go on Facebook, go into your favorite Facebook group and say hi. So I'm going to teach the Facebook framework because it's the easiest in concept to understand. This works on Instagram, this works on LinkedIn, this works on Reddit, this works a million other ways. So this works many places, but I'm teaching the Facebook one because it's the easiest in concept to understand. So show up. You see your favorite quote in another Facebook group. Oh, I love that quote. I feel it every time I see the quote. Did I tell you to write content? No. Did I tell you to write a I help statement or your VSL or any of that? Absolutely not. Show up. That's step 1. Show up. Show up and comment. Don't create your own posts. Show up and comment. Step 1. And I want you to do that on at least 3 posts in your favorite Facebook group. That's it. Way less. 2 minutes. That's your first 2 minutes of your Power Hour that you will hear us talk about all the time. Next step of your Power Hour. What are you good at? Whatever the thing your business is about. So if somebody says, I need to hire a VA, I don't know what tasks to give them. Your job is, step 2, say, as a VA, you could hire me to organize your email, send an email, organize your Google Drive, give them 3 ideas. And you want to know what else she did by doing that? When I hired Danielle, she's tagged me. She's tagged the ideal person. So what I did is I did veil sales. I gave 100% value, but I also told somebody I did that thing without pitching. There was 0 sales pitch there. Both aspects, what Rebecca said and what I did, will get you visible and will get you a potential client. By what Rebecca said, when I hired whoever, doesn't matter who she hired, which means that she's 5 steps ahead of me. Oh, she's who I want to talk to because she's ahead of me and she's a coach and she knows what she's talking about because she's already done this. I have gotten clients from tagging Rebecca and saying, oh, I hired Rebecca because I needed somebody to work with me on my healthcare journey. I got a client from that. When somebody asked about hiring a health coach, how did I get a client? Oh, you practice what you preach. You talk about hiring people and you hired the person. I want to work with you. That had nothing to do about my business. It does not matter. And all of that just happened in less than 5 minutes. I showed up, commented on 3 things that had 0 to do with anything about my business at all. I commented on 1 post. So we're not even at our Power Hour yet. And Power Hour is 15 minutes. That's the 15-minute strategy that we teach. So next step is to go into another Facebook group and do the same thing. And then go into another group and do the same thing. So you can do 3 Facebook groups, which 3 complete communities, getting the attention of 3 complete communities in 15 minutes and not have to actually write 1 piece of content. You do that more than once a day. If you've got more than once a day to do that, you just tripled your visibility, quadrupled your visibility. The more you do it, the more visible you get. The more visible you get, the more your content, your actual marketing content is seen. The more your marketing content is seen, the more your comments in other Facebook groups are seen. The more your comments are seen, the more your marketing content is seen. See the cycle here? Organic, easy. You can do it for just 15 minutes a day and see this. Somebody who does it 15 minutes 3 to 4 times a day, gets even more. The more you show up, the more sales you can get. It's that same process. But all of this did not require you to write 50 pages of content. It did not require you to have a sales page. It did not require you to have a sales funnel or to hire that VA to do that beautiful BSL video or it required you to sit down at your computer or on your phone. You could do this on your phone. I do it from my phone standing in line at Target. So how are you going to show up? Okay, so the next part of this framework is understanding the 80-20-20 rule. Yes, 80%, 20%, 20%. Yes, it adds up to more than 100% because the first 100% is all value-based. What is value? Value is engaging on somebody else's content. It is not creating your own content. Value is not creating your own content. Now, we will talk about, if you follow me for too long, you'll hear me talk about creating value posts. The powerful sales strategy is not creating your own content at all, ever. I've been around a long time. I have so much content. It's a ridiculous amount. My team picks on me for how much written content I have. I do not share when I'm doing sales. I do not share any fresh content of my own. That is not helpful to anybody. Nobody's going to read a long form post for sales in this strategy. Now, do you need to be creating content like that? Yes. There's a right time and right place for it. In your sales, when you are in need of clients, is not the place to do that. That is a long-term relationship building sales strategy. That is a marketing strategy. It is not a sales strategy. So you're not creating content. You're not driving yourself nuts trying to create the most beautiful piece of graphics or the most beautiful video or any of that. You are showing up and you are engaging. That is the value. So I say 80-20-20 rule. 100% value, 20% sales. So 80% of your value should be answering the question. Have you read, what's the best financial planning book you've read lately? I love Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a great book. I just gave value. I engaged. I showed up. People see my name, which means they know I'm around and they know I'm here. 20% veiled promotion, veiled value. Oh, have you ever really struggled with creating content on Facebook? Oh, yeah, I do. When I'm working with my client XYZ, my client Rebecca, and I worked out the strategy that works really, really well for her. And then I explained the strategy. 100% of what I give is value. But I just told them I did that by saying my client. But you will notice that we're giving 100% of the same value we give it to our clients when we do that. In my example, I gave the strategy I gave to Rebecca to do the thing that I do for a living. Rebecca gave the same strategy that she did with a coaching client, 100% giving it away. If you are afraid to give that value, then we need to step back and find out why you're afraid to actually show up in the world. And that's where the sales strategy is not going to work for you very well. You need to be confident that you know what you're talking about, that you can share it, and by sharing it, you will get clients. If you are worried about sharing your value, the world is going to see that. Believe it or not, if you don't share value and you say, hey, I can do that, I've done that with my clients, but don't actually give any information, people are like, oh, they're afraid to tell me how. Oh, they're not worth my time to talk to. What are you making your fear of sharing something mean about you? And that is a question. What are you making this mean about you? What are you making this mean about you? And if you don't understand what that means, come into our Facebook group. We have so many posts on RSD and self-sabotage and patterns and all of that for this particular aspect. But your mindset behind your sales is the powerful thing about your sales. Your mindset of your power, your mindset of your knowledge, your confidence behind your mindset of your knowledge and your power is what is going to make you powerful at sales. If you are expecting somebody to hire you for something, have you hired somebody to do the same thing for you? Because I guarantee you, you have needed the help at some point. And if you think you don't, then you definitely need to re-listen to what I just said. So we've talked about full-on value. We've talked about veiled value. Tell a client story. Give the value. Give the information, 100% of the information of how to do XYZ. And I don't care whether you're a VA, OBM, social media expert, coach, consultant, whatever. I've been doing this since I sold computer stuff. Selling computer hardware, I did this. So it works for products, it works for services. The last 20% is outright sales pitch. You want to know when you should do an outright sales pitch? When somebody says, who is an OBM and can help me with this? I'm struggling with all of these three things. That's when you get to do a sales pitch. That's it. That is the only time in a Facebook group when you are looking for sales. When you are marketing and looking to build your brand and do all of that, that is a very different conversation. And that is a content creation conversation. It is not a sales conversation. Once the power hour is working for you, you want to get everybody into DMs. Your next most powerful piece of your sales process is DMs. So you want to get them in DMs. I've had DM conversations that I started, and today is actually the perfect example. I have a perfect example. So I've had a DM this morning with somebody. The last time I talked to them was 2017. And I didn't even realize that until this morning when she sent me a personal DM. She's been chatting on some of our videos recently. 2017. So she has been a lead in my lead funnel, in my sales funnel since 2017. And I have been building a relationship with her so much that she has been engaging and commenting on almost all of our content for like the last 2 weeks. And I made a sale from her today. In 2017, I was only doing operational work. I was not coaching out loud. So are you building relationships? Every DM, and I don't care if the DM is trying to sell you something, every DM that you get is a potential client until they absolutely aren't. And you aren't going to know that they absolutely aren't for 2 or 3 years. The only absolute no is if they block you. So every DM is a potential client until they aren't. And all you're doing in those DMs is getting to know them. This woman that I made a sale today, we talked about her job. Like a few years ago, we talked about potential, what she maybe wanted to do someday. She was starting to become a life coach. Like we had conversation, like we didn't talk about sales at all for the last 4 years, however many years that is, because I can't do that math in my head. But we just talked. We chatted, talked about dogs. We talked about, chat with somebody. That is sales. That is a good sales relationship. Your 15-minute sales process that gets clients, our clients' in 24 hours or less is showing up, being visible, commenting, engaging. That's it. That is the sales process. You've got the 80-20-20 rule. 80% value. 20% tell a story about how you did it for a client and give them the exact framework that you gave the client. 20% of when somebody asks for sales and they're looking for somebody to sell to them, that's when you sell. That is the framework. Then you get them to DMs and you be a human. You talk with them. You enjoy building a conversation with them and getting to know them. Is there more to the DM process? Heck yes. That's where our all access pass comes in, the SEA comes in, and all of the things that we do, we teach you how to do that because that is a highly customized piece that I cannot give you a framework for that because your personality, your business, your whatever you're selling, your offers, your products are going to determine what that conversation looks like. But that framework that we just gave you, we preach this all of the time. I think this is probably my 500th video over the last 10 years-ish of talking about this. This framework makes money. 15%, 100% increase in sales. Just by listening to me. We have 3 ways for you. It's $7. After this, you will see a little thing pop up underneath where you can buy it for $7. You can buy a Trello board. We have a way to track all of these conversations and your process so you know what types of engagement are working for you and what is not, what Facebook groups you're in, all of that. We have a Trello board for that. We also have, or you could buy an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet for you to track it in. But we also have our monthly CEO tracking and goal planning sessions that we do that are part of our All Access Pass. They're only part of our All Access Pass or our Building Successful Entrepreneurs Academy. That we teach you how to do that every single month. We go live. We do a training every single month. We have a worksheet that goes with it every single month to help you track all of that. They have to be confident they know what they're doing. They have to be confident that their clients are going to get a transformation when working with them. If you aren't confident, nobody's going to be confident about what you have to say about it. So if you have a sales funnel and you're going to do a launch for a challenge and nobody signs up for the challenge, and then you give up and say, well, that never worked for me. I can't do that again. No, you don't know what worked. You don't know what didn't work. Was it the sales page? Was it your messaging? Was it that you posted in the wrong Facebook groups? Is it that you weren't confident about what you were talking about and it came across? You don't know the answer to that until you do it multiple times. Sometimes getting the support to work through the thing is what makes the radical shift. Sometimes It's understanding that you have to work through something and get through the pain, not over the pain, not under the pain, not around the pain, through the pain to figure out what that next level is for you. That is what makes radical shifts. And when you make a radical shift in your business, the world will see it when you are showing up powerfully. And when you level up, your clients level up. Your potential clients level up just by you showing up powerfully. Are you ready to be powerful in your sales? If you're ready to be powerful, you've got the framework. How are you going to show up?